Hi, my name is Zoe Deese, and welcome to Gaston Spotlight. I'm here today with John Withers. How are you today, John?
I'm great, Zoe. How are you?
So, you're an instructor here at Gaston
I
College.
am.
Let's talk about that. What are some things that you've done here?
Well, the most important thing is I started here as a student. I'm an alumni of Gaston College. I spent 4 years here getting a 2-year degree, and that gave me a great start to go into other workplaces. I've taught at a few other places besides here, and to eventually come back. So I've spent a total of about 20 years here as either a student, a part-time instructor, or a full-time instructor. So most of my adult life has been here at Gaston College.
Would you say it's been worth it?
I think so. I took my college very seriously. I spent a few extra time taking a few extra classes, really played in the electives for a while. But that gave me a really nice foundation as I transferred. I was always very prepared for the next step.
Yeah.
So it was very much worth it.
So you're an English instructor, but also you've done some kind of film class. Let's talk about that.
Humanities 140 is actually my favorite class to teach. Humanities 140 doesn't exist at Gaston College right now, but that's Intro to Film. It was a true humanities course. We always had full sections of it. Students loved it. But as a true humanities course, we had a little bit of literature and narrative kind of aspect to it, but also we talked about psychology, sociology, economics, religion, and kind of how film and narrative interacts with the public and with the creators.
Yeah.
And so we had a little bit of discussion of production, but mostly it was a humanities course. And it had great results. It just sort of went away as things sometimes do. Hopefully it'll come back one day, and hopefully I'll still be here when it does, because I'd love to teach it again.
It's a shame, because that's such an awesome blend. We really got to get that back.
We ran 2 sections every semester, had waiting lists to get into both those sections. So it was a great class that students loved. It was a really good class for the end of someone's college career, because too often students think about math class and history class being 2 separate classes and not getting that connection. But being a true humanities class, it really showed them how to put all their education together. So I loved when students took it at the end of their second year.
So let's talk about you being an English instructor. Why an English instructor?
I love English. I love stories. I always have. In high school, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, and so I came to Gaston College. My parents actually gave me a choice after high school. I could get a job, go to college, or get out, and I thought college sounds easy. So I came here, and here I learned I'm a word guy. My parents said I had to go to college to stay at their house. They never said I had to graduate. So I spent 4 years getting a 2-year degree, then went to Belmont Abbey and knocked out the next 2 years fairly quickly, and then spent the rest of my life in college, in and out of college to some degree. I'm currently back in a PhD program right now.
Oh, nice,
Yep.
Nice. Has there ever been a favorite teaching moment? Like, has there ever been a time where you've maybe saw yourself and you've seen yourself in a student?
I've got a lot of teaching moments that kind of happen frequently. I've been teaching for about 20 years. I'm either here at high school, other colleges, universities, here or in China. I've got about 20 years teaching experience at some level. Each year I get those moments, but I love just watching students struggle, which sounds mean, but I love it when they struggle and overcome. And I've had a lot of students over the years that have come in hating English class, but they've put the work in, they've asked the questions, and by the end they've done fairly well for them, and many of them have went on to flourish. I've had students go on to write books, do poetry collections, do art, become MMA fighters, go and excel wherever they wanted to excel, but they had to get over those initial hurdles first. So.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned books. We actually have some right here. Let's talk about these.
So, just before the pandemic, 2016 or 17, I needed something in my life, and so I decided to go back into writing. It had been a while since I'd done any creative writing, and so I started the Castle of Imagination series, and that series is interactive fiction. So the reader makes choices sometimes and decide where the book's going to go from there. The reader always wants to be a hero, but sometimes you can't be, and so there are some choices you have to make with dice to decide if the fates will let you make this choice or not make that choice. Adventure books.
Yeah, nice.
Very comfortable to choose your own adventure, which is a great brand. Also, if you're a little bit younger, it's very comfortable to give yourself Goosebumps books. Fighting fantasy for our British viewers. Joe Dever's Lone Wolf was a huge inspiration, though.
So what are some themes about this book?
I've worked with high school students and transitioning kind of college students for so long that the book starts off with a high school student that is struggling to fit in, and they're using role-playing games to bridge that gap to kind of survive high school. And so in this book, you actually play the struggling teen and the barbarian that they're playing in the role-playing campaign. And so you're moving between the framed tale and the narrative in that way. And that's there's 6 books total in this series, 5 of which are available now. The 6th book is coming soonish. I've been saying that for 3 years, so whatever soon means. But they're a linked adventure, so once you've completed one book, you go to the next book and watch that character grow through high school and beyond. The 5th book, they're already raising a family.
So what do you draw inspiration from?
You know, a lot of real life, a lot of family, a lot of friends, a lot of students I've had in the past, a lot of little bits of stories get stuck together, and then just observational and other books and kind of craziness. So.
What advice would you give to a writer that may be going through writer's block, or they're just kind of like struggling finding inspiration?
Yeah, I'm from Jack Kerouac's school of writing, so my advice is read more and live more. Very early on through college, and before I even sat down to write the big books, I was constantly traveling and trying to live experiences. In college, I would often spend spring break with a satchel full of books on a motorcycle. I'd go down to Daytona and just sit on the beach and read for a while, but I also would listen to conversations, meet people, talk in bars and restaurants. And a lot of those pieces have kind of stuck in with characters eventually. So like Kerouac, go live a story and then come back and find a way to write it down.
Awesome. I mean, life really is just its own adventure book.
You know, it's hard to tell that when you're living forward. Life is very reflective, but absolutely it's an adventure book. We're always looking at choices. That's one of the reasons I like the interactive book structure. I've done some other series and some zines, and I've also done some comics and some manga. But I like that choice-based structure because there is a lot of choice in life.
Would you say this is your magnum opus?
No, I think I'm just getting started. I don't know what my best book's going to be, but I think each book has gotten better. I think as I get more comfortable and as I kind of play more, I think they do improve as I go along. Maybe not every book's getting improvement, but I think I'm building towards something. I don't think I've quite peaked quite yet.
That's exciting. I mean,
I'm excited
honestly,
about
can't wait
it.
to see that.
I'm submitting some comics today. I enjoy publishing the big books, but I also like having comics out in zines across the country. And so I did some submissions this morning before this interview. So I just always trying to find something else.
Awesome. Well, where can we find these books? Where can these viewers find these books?
The best things in life are on Amazon, so all my books are available on Amazon. I've got some other pieces scattered other places, but a good spot to kind of figure out what I'm doing is Amazon. And I've tried to link them by series and by type, by zines.
Well, Mr. Withers, it's been awesome. Thank you for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
And if you guys are interested in learning more about what we do, you can check out the Instagram at Gaston Broadcast. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm Zoe, and this has been Gaston Spotlight.